Hello and welcome to this video on kitchen units and shelves and cupboards, where I should tell you what I did. And here is the frame for what would become the sink unit. I used reclaimed pine wherever possible and halving joints, lap joints, that sort of thing, to make the frame. I found a kitchen sink in a skip, to which I then cut a hole in a fairly sizable thickness of mahogany ply, so that it would drop in, and that's worked out really well and looks nice. The sink is going to have a micro switch on it. Here the sink unit is in place next to the sliding door. There's still plenty of room to get in and out of the van alongside the unit, and that fastens onto the bulkhead. And I put a door at the front inside the van, so that you can access a shelf that's 2/3 of the way up, where I've got baskets so you can store your washing up stuff, and actually a water purifier. Here it is in position. It's been varnished, and there's no handle on it at the moment, but it did get a nice little handle. And it is this is a side view of it from outside the van, with the baskets there you can see on the sink. Originally I had them around that way, the bottles. I don't know why, it's not a good idea, so I changed their orientation to that, and you can see it's much more accessible, and you can see the cable going into the left hand side one, which is the fresh water, and the pipe coming down from the sink goes into the right hand one, which is a tap at the bottom to drain the wastewater. So that's worked out quite well, and the micro switch activates the pump and pumps up the water to the tap, and then it drains back down onto the right hand one, and you can fill the fresh water on the left hand side. Here is a unit I wanted to go above the desk, so it would mainly contain books, and you can see that it's got a sloping back. The size of the van slopes, so in order to have a straight front needed a sloping back, so that made things slightly difficult. And in this case you can't see the back, but there is a back to it as well. Here it is in position, and there you can see the back in all its glory, and that looks nice. Underneath I put an LED light, so you can have light above the desk. And this is another one I made. This has actually got a straight back, and this was designed to go above the bulkhead, and actually will have a flap that folds down to go on top of the front. And there it is at the moment without the extra flap, but that again lifts off, and so you can get to the back, and there's loads of space above the cabin roof, in that area at the back there for bedding and things. This is a more challenging frame I made for the basically the microwave and cupboard to access the electrics, and also on the right hand side the space is measured for a fridge. So it all obviously was very carefully measured. It was quite a tight fit to get all the electrics in alongside the fridge. But I did get there after a few attempts. Here we've got the door on the left hand side, and the worktop on the top. A microwave would go on the right hand side of that. All the electrics were on the left hand side, and you could access them and see what's going on. You could change your fuse by lifting the flap up. The front door does open as well, and there is a shelf that you can remove, so you can store things in there. Well, if you don't, while travelling. Here's the flap down, and you can see the shelf underneath where I store cooking stuff, and that's worked out quite well. And on the left hand side you can just see the points for the switches. I made a drawer and fitted runners on it that only open when you push the drawer in, so that goes on the right hand side above the fridge and doesn't come out in transit. There it is in situ, and without the panel on the back panel there. Here's the panel fitted, and then I was ready to start work on the bed, which would fit alongside that kitchen unit. And here is the bed being clamped up, and then fitted into the van. I didn't want to use the space underneath. I wanted to keep it free so I could store things underneath the bed and have free access to things. But you could obviously have cupboards and things if you wished underneath there. Here's the picture of the desk in its down position. This is early on in the process where there's no cover on the left hand side of the van, but that did get covered. The grey box underneath actually has a lid that comes off, and it's a great place you can store your laptop and router in there, a kind of secret cupboard. The desk folds up, and as you can see it's a catch to keep it in place, and the legs click in place. There's a picture of the desk down, a nice shiny top. The idea is you'd sit on the bed to access the table, and with the mattress there it is actually quite comfortable. Also the heights were worked out to make sure it was the right height. Lastly, I wanted a cupboard to go over the bed which had proper cupboard doors. Again, it's got sloping back, again quite tricky to make, and this is a position where I had to I'll make it fairly long, and I didn't put back on this one. It goes straight onto the back of the van, fitted with cupboard doors, and it looks quite nice with, again, an LED underneath, so you've got access at night to a light. That's the summary of the cupboards and units, and they're all in place now and all looking great, but there's still more to do, and here's an overview of the whole van. You can see the door handles are on there, and the mattress is in place, and it's ready to go.